Hi. When I was a lad, there was a programme on television. It was a game show, and it was called What's My Line? And it was really very simple. There were a panel, a group of celebrities, famous people, and they had to ask guests questions, simple questions that could be answered either yes or no. And from those, they had to guess what that person did for a living. Now, if somebody had walked on and they had been wearing one of these, it would have been really simple to work out what they did. But what if a teacher came on dressed, well, just like anyone else in the street, or a lawyer, or a doctor, or, I don't know, anyone? It's harder if somebody isn't wearing a uniform. Then we don't know what they do. It's easy to know what I do when I'm wearing my dog collar, but if you didn't know who I was and I wasn't wearing a dog collar, would you know? There's a story in Matthew's Gospel in chapter 16, and it's a story about a time that Jesus asked his disciples a couple of questions. The first question he asked them was, who do people say that I am? It was like Jesus was saying, look, I know people are talking about me. Who do they think I am? And the disciples said to him, well, some people think you're John the Baptist, and some think you're Elijah, and some think you're the prophet Jeremiah, and then there are others who think you're other prophets. And it was then that Jesus asked the big question. There used to be another game show in America called the $64,000 question. Well, Jesus asked them the $64,000 question. Jesus said to the disciples, who do you say I am? And it was Simon Peter who answered. He said, you are the Messiah. You are the Son of the living God. And Peter knew that, not because Jesus wore a uniform and not because Jesus had told him. He knew that because he'd spent time with Jesus. He knew that Jesus was the Son of the living God because he'd heard Jesus talk, because he'd seen Jesus do amazing things, because he'd just been with Jesus for all this time. And so he just knew. He knew that Jesus was God's Son. There are lots of people nowadays who think lots of different things about Jesus. Some people say that he was just a good man, a kind man, a very good man and a very kind man. There are other people who say that he was a great religious leader who said and did amazing things. But you and I, we know, like Peter knew, that Jesus is much more than a good and a kind man, even a very good and a very kind man, that he's much more than a religious leader. We know that he is the Son of the living God. We know that he is the Saviour. One of the most important questions we have to answer as followers of Jesus is, who do we think Jesus is for us? For me, yes, he's the Son of God. Yes, he's the Messiah. But also for me, he's my friend. And he's my companion, the person who walks with me through life. The person who's with me every step of the way. Good days, bad days, easy paths, difficult paths. Jesus is there. That's who Jesus is for me. Who is Jesus for you? Before I leave you, just want to say, big news, stop the press. St Leonard's is opening again, reopening, next Sunday, the 30th of August. It's going to be very different, very, very different. We can only accommodate a few people. We'd hope to have 2 services, but we've been told that we can only have 1. So there will only be 1 service, and we'll only be allowed to let in about 40 people, and we're asking people to book through the office to do it. It's not the way we want it to be, but it's a start. This is the start, and it's going to be great to be together again. I'll still be recording services for Facebook and the web page, and I'll still be doing these wee talks as well for you on a Sunday. But we're starting up again. First service, or 1 service to start with, and who knows Hopefully we will get 2 services. There'll be one in the morning and one later on, but we're starting. So you take care. God bless and keep well.